But let's talk about this videotape. Could somebody in the media actually go look at this videotape and see what else is on this videotape? If you want a reason to vote for Mitt Romney, here it is. What else is on this videotape? I have been concerned. I have been saying I'm not sure that Mitt Romney gets it. I'm not sure what he's going to do with the bailouts. I'm not sure what he's going to do with the Fed. Oh, I am now, because what they're not playing for you is the audio we're about to play for you on the 47%. That's not all he said. I want you to listen carefully to what Mitt Romney said is the biggest problem in our country. A response to a question. Listen to what he says about the Federal Reserve.
The former head of Goldman Sachs, John Whitehead, was also the former head of the New York Federal Reserve, and I met with him, and he said as soon as the Fed stops buying all the debt that we're issuing, which they've been doing, the Fed's buying like 3/4 of the debt that America issues. He says, what's that over? That's over. He said, we're going to have a failed Treasury auction. Interest rates are going to have to go up. We're living in this borrowed fantasy world where the government keeps on borrowing money. We borrow this extra $1 trillion a year, and we wonder, well, who's loaning us $1 trillion? The Chinese aren't loaning us anymore. The Russians aren't loaning it to us anymore. So who's giving us $1 trillion? And the answer is, we're just making it up. The Federal Reserve is just taking it and saying, here, we're giving it. It's just made up money. And this does not augur well for our economic future. Some of these things are complex enough. It's not easy for people to understand. But your point of saying bankruptcy usually concentrates the mind.
Why are we not talking about that? Do you hear what a presidential candidate just said? Apparently not. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Nobody in the media cares. This is a major revelation. This is a major candidate saying the Federal Reserve is making up money because the Russians aren't loaning us any money anymore. The Chinese aren't loaning us any money anymore. So who's giving us the trillions of dollars? The answer, and I'm quoting, is we're just making it up. The Federal Reserve is just taking it and saying, here, we're giving it. It's made up money. Ron Paul people, you want to know where he stands on the Federal Reserve? There it is, in a candid moment. While everybody else is paying attention to the 47%, there is your answer. Your answer is he knows what's going on with the Federal Reserve, and he is warning us what's happening in the Federal Reserve. Now, let me ask you a question. Which is more important to the future of our country? These people in the media are playing games. These people are just playing games. We have the Secret Service and the DHS now being compromised because they're now being pressured by the government, by the administration, to not tell the truth until after the election. That's a quote from the Secret Service. We have yesterday, 6 or 7 different congressmen that picked up the blind sheik story. By the way, we're not the only source on this now. There's other sources on this that are now coming out and saying, hey, the blind sheik thing, that's happening. We're not the only source. And who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the DOJ that says it's, what did they say? It's absolute, complete, utter garbage.
Yeah.
When we come back a little later, I want to go over what the DOJ said about the blind sheik. That is the most bizarre statement from the government I have ever read. The way it is phrased, something's very wrong here. Now, if you want to go ahead and believe the people who said, oh, Libya, that's about that film, and then 4 days later they're saying no, if you want to believe that they say, no, there was no warning on that Libya thing, and 4 days later they say, okay, there was warning on it. If you want to believe that this was his protective detail, and then 4 days later they say, okay, no, it wasn't. They were State Department. They were doing other things. They're CIA agents.
They lied every step of the way.
Every step of the way on almost everything just in the last few weeks. They say that the Federal Reserve, what they're doing, the Federal Reserve, that's going to be a good thing for the economy. Well, if you want to believe that, if you want to take their word, God bless you. If you want to continue to sit here and talk about the 47%, with Harry Reid, God bless you. But the country is on fire and trouble. Stop listening to those media sources that are telling you these things and are concentrating on the 47%. Stop listening to those people who are giving you poll numbers that show that it's not true, that Romney doesn't have a shot. Stop listening to those people. Listen, Romney may not have a shot. I don't know. I personally, strangely feel greatly at peace. I don't know why. I got a message from David Barton, and I said, David, can you tell me what do you think is happening? Does Mitt Romney have a shot? He wrote me and he said, Glenn, I have to tell you, everything would tell you no, but Cheryl and I feel so at peace on this.
I feel good about that. Good.
Yeah.
At least it's not just us.
Right. Pat and I talk. We're not morons. We sit here. Yeah. We look at the poll numbers. I don't know why I feel so confident about this. I really don't. And Pat and I were talking on the plane. Maybe God's plan is that Romney wins or loses. I don't know. I can't imagine how that one works out. Maybe that's his plan, but I'm telling you that his will be done. And as long as we are focused on the things that we're supposed to focus on, we'll be fine. Stop focusing on the polls. Stop focusing on the 47%. Start focusing on telling people how much trouble we are in, because now is crunch time. And it's not about the election. I mean for the country. It's crunch time. If you've listened to this show and you've believed me in the past on what I say is coming, it's not coming anymore. It is here. It is on the ground and it is happening. You are seeing it in real time right now.